Time for a rant. It's not going to be a long one. I'm going to keep swearing to an absolute minimum. Just saw the news release regarding our new Canadian trucker from Alberta that killed the hockey team. He was in court this morning and has been released on $1,000 bail. He's been charged with enough criminal charges to theoretically put him in jail for 16 years. And they let him out on $1,000 bail. $1,000. $1,000. There's another news story from this morning regarding the truck driver that was 3 times the legal limit, driving down the 402, hauling 66,000 pounds of liquid propane. According to the testimony, and he pleaded guilty, he had a third of a bottle of whiskey left that was within his reach. He'd been sucking back whiskey. He was 3 times the legal limit. And the judge thought that an appropriate sentence for him was 90 days in jail. Loses his license for 1 year. The guy's hauling a full tanker of propane, sucking whiskey out of the bottle, driving down the 402, and the judge figures that 90 days is going to satisfy the Crown's request to send a strong message. 90 days. It's not going to end, folks. It's not going to end. No word regarding the new Canadian who got released on $1,000 bail as to whether or not they have grabbed his passport. And there's no details as to whether or not the court has put in any sort of a surveillance to keep this kid from skipping the country. But I think $1,000 bail for something like this is just yeah, basically I got no words. But I think we need to have a very serious, hard look at whoever this judge is and see if they're competent enough to keep their job. As far as the judge that gave the trucker with the propane 90 days for what he did, and that was this morning, the ruling came out. This is another judge that needs to have a competency review. We're not going to stop these things from happening with these kinds of consequences. It's just not going to happen. It's not going to stop. So don't scratch your head and wonder why the hell this stuff is happening out on our highways in the trucking industry. There are no consequences. None. Nothing in the way of consequences. The Humboldt kid, he's going to get sentenced to 1 year. Or he'll only do 1 year because they'll run all of his, he'll be found guilty on 16 counts. But he's going to serve the maximum of 1 year in jail for each count, and they're going to let him serve it all at the same time. And he'll be out of jail in 7 months. And that's going to be it. He'll lose his license for a year, maybe 2, maximum. That's going to be it. And the guy that was driving drunk with the propane, he gets his license back next year. On the 10th of July next year, he can apply for his new license. And he'll get it. That's the way it is. And it's going to be your kid next. And there's not a bloody thing you can do about it. Unless enough people get outraged and demand an overhaul, not only of the trucking industry, but I think it's pretty clear we need to have a very serious conversation about these lenient sentences that the judges are handing out. I can cure your drinking and driving. I can eliminate 99.9% of it. It's very simple. First offense, you lose your license for life, $50,000 fine. Mandatory, 1 year in jail. If you cause an accident, 10 years in jail, $250,000 fine. You kill somebody, life. No parole for 25 years. Second offense, no matter how minor. Second impaired driving offense, regardless of what happens, mandatory life in prison, no possibility of parole for 25 years, $1 million fine. Now, before you say this is ridiculous, consider this. Are you going to take a chance knowing that those are the consequences? For starters, if you don't drink and drive, you have absolutely nothing to fear. Everybody's going to be sober out on the highway, and these consequences can't affect you. And if you do drink and drive, you're the exact asshole we need off the road. You see, we can stop the drinking and driving, and we can force people to start doing things properly and using common sense out on the highway. We just have to give them a reason. We have to make the consequences for really bad decisions so severe that it'll actually break through that barrier that seems to exist that keeps them from making common sense decisions in the first place, and it forces them to make the right choices. Let's make the penalties for the drinking and driving so severe that nobody would dare do it. We'd wipe out 99% of the problem. Not going to stop it all. But then we'll go and we'll worry about the 1% that's left afterwards. Let's actually do something about this. As far as the training in the trucking industry, well, that's not going to change. Nothing's going to change until the right people die. Some of us thought that maybe this accident with the hockey team might qualify as the right person dying, but obviously it hasn't. So we'll just have to sit back and wait. Maybe if it was Justin Trudeau's kids that got killed, maybe we'd get some change. So enjoy the carnage, people, because you're going to continue to see more of it. Have a good day.